Yo, what's up, YouTube? Um, I want to address the whole idea of nice guys finishing last because I more so see it as productive men, men with a plan who finish last. And for me, it's okay, and quite frankly, it makes sense. If you're trying to build something big, and you're in a community where people aren't thinking big, you're gonna finish last, right? If they're trying to build a 1 bedroom house and you're trying to build, a 5 bedroom house, with a den and an office, it's gonna take you a while to put it together. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Do what you have to do. Now, in regards to some of the men who are finishing first, so to speak, now, I'm not going to tell you that, it's not what it's cracked up to be, and, it's not fun, and they're not enjoying the perks of, women and all this other stuff. But my thing is, if you want something short term, then go ahead and take their advice in terms of how not to be the guy finishing last. There's plenty of videos from men and women telling the dudes who have something big in mind how to change up for something short term. So if you want something short term, just hit back on your browser and go find those videos. But at the end of the day, you're going to be mortgaging your future for a couple of years of fun, right? The same dudes that say, oh, I'm getting it now, you're finishing last, yada, 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 right? They may have a window, but a very limited window of, their fun. We see it all the time, right? So I've seen, in high school, the bad boy and the dude that got a lot of the attention. And I'm looking at him now, a good, 8 years later, and I'm like, oh, all the love is gone. Okay? So, right, your 8 years of fun is up, whereas, the rest of my life is now intact, right? My master plan is coming together. So, like I said before, if you want to end up like him and, trade long term for short term, then go ahead and do so. But just realize how he ends up in the end. No one's saying it's easy finishing last and doing what you have to do. No one's saying that. But you have to make a choice. Do you want it now, short term, or do you want it later, long term? Simple as that. That's the way life works, man. No decision is ever going to be 100%, it's not going to make you feel good 100% all the time. But you got to be smart. And, the women who come on and talk about, why they like this type of guy, and, the ones that come on and even try to give advice to men in terms of how not to finish last, ask yourself, where do those women end up? My thing, in my viewpoint, right, people say the nice guy finishes last, but so do carefree and ignorant women. They finish last as well, right? We all talk about it in terms of the mistakes black women make, and they'll come on and talk about, I was younger, and look where they end up. But when they're young and they're wilding out, they're telling you, right, you, the guy who's finishing last, what to do to be like the guy that they don't want anymore. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, they too, a lot of them are lacking long-time planning. A lot of black women are mortgaging their futures for a couple of years of fun. So why would you take advice from them when at the end of the day, you're going to be the type of dude that they're looking for? Right? Why would you give up your leverage? So you have to really understand that, man, it's not easy. Of course it's not easy. Especially in the black community, it really almost feels like a punishment to do well. Whereas other, communities and groups is kind of encouraged, and you're kind of, it's like a race and you're running a marathon, and you know how it is. The people come out and they give you water and they're helping you out on your race. But for blacks, it's like, you're running this marathon with no shoes and there's no one there to give you water. And it's just like, why am I doing it? But like, once you get there, it's the best feeling in the world. The journey sucks, but like, if you get to that point, right, where you're finishing last and you have that 5-bedroom house, like I said before, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not even there yet But, I guess I'm further along in the race than I was a couple of years ago, and you kind of seeing the end result. And, I thank God every day that I didn't, fall off track. Because the same men that were cool, right, they've already fallen off, right? The same men the women are complaining about, they're writing books about, they're having seminars about. And lo and behold, these same women are going to try to give you advice in terms of how to compete with those men. Logically, it makes little sense. And like I said, you have to look at how these women end up. Look at it. Alright, so in closing, yeah, you may finish last. It's okay. But these same women finish last as well. And the sad thing is, right, we're finishing with a 5-bedroom house, and they're finishing with a whole bunch of regret, anger, resentment, and it's simply because you chose the higher road. You didn't choose to change up your lifestyle to compete with a man who has a very limited future. Okay? They are the ones who end up changing their perception. Don't listen to what a younger woman's going to tell you. I'm sorry. There are a lot of, younger women out there, who do understand and who do get it. But the vast majority don't. Most women in our society, in American society, will mortgage their future for now. Right? They'd rather have fun for 5-6 years as opposed to setting up shop for the rest of their lives. So don't listen to advice that's going to tell you how to participate in that foolery. Don't listen to the advice from men who are trying to tell you how to compete with them, because they will be phased out. Okay? To me, it's the whole Three Little Pigs syndrome. I think it's one of the best stories that we have out there. The whole story of the Three Little Pigs. Right? They laughed at the third pig. And what happened? When the big bad wolf, life, came around and, blew their house down, what did they do? They ran to the third pig that they ridiculed. Right? And luckily, he was nice enough to save them. But, I've dealt with enough younger children and read this story enough that they have different variations. They actually have ones where the wolf eats the 2 first pigs. Right? There's some where the third pig saves them, but there's some where the third pig doesn't let them in and they get eaten by the wolf. But it depends on what version you've read. So anyways, keep that in mind, especially if you're younger. And if you're in a position like me, and you're still going through your emotions, just remember it. It's not easy, but you made a choice for the long term. And this is one of the sacrifices that come with, going for something bigger and larger and, more satisfying. So you guys take it easy. God bless.